Welcome back to Books and Brews, Tales from the Frozen Tundra, where Packers stories are poured one pint at a time.
Oh, it is so good to be back in the studio.
It really is. And, just to set the scene for you listening at home, it is exactly 4:20 p.m. on Saturday, June 2026.
Yes, it is.
And you are joining us right here from Drickyord Studios in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I have to say, if you are looking out a window right now, you can see we are finally getting that welcoming Saturday after a really stormy week.
Oh, I mean, the golden late afternoon sunshine right now is just incredible. It actually feels like summer out there.
Totally. It's sitting right around 75 degrees, but the real feel is closer to 83.
Yeah, and there's this nice, gentle northeast wind blowing at about 5 miles per hour.
Right, with like 41% cloud cover and a very high UV index, plus only a 25% chance of rain, which is a relief.
It's gorgeous. So, it's the perfect time to grab your coffee, your tea,
Mm.
or maybe a cold beer and just settle in with us.
Exactly. Settle in, get comfortable, because I actually want you to imagine the exact opposite of this beautiful summer day.
Okay, wait. That is quite the pivot from, a perfect summer afternoon.
I know, but stick with me here. I want you to imagine it is minus 10 degrees. The wind is just howling. You are freezing down to your absolute bones in the middle of winter.
Oh, yeah, we've all been there.
Right. But here's the thing. Even though you are surrounded by freezing concrete and steel, you feel entirely at home.
Mm-hmm.
So how does a massive freezing stadium in the middle of the tundra become the warmest place on Earth? Well, today we are finding out.
We really are.
Welcome, everyone, to Part 7. This is the emotional closing chapter of our main 7-part Superfan series. And this deep dive is officially titled The Ones Who Welcome Us Home.
I love that title. And it's actually the perfect question to ask right now, especially if we connect this to the bigger picture of the whole football calendar.
Oh, for sure.
Because we are currently sitting in that super quiet off-season lull,
Yeah.
and minicamp just wrapped up. And we all just sitting around waiting for training camp to kick off.
Yeah, the waiting is the hardest part.
Exactly. And while the actual team waits for camp, the fans are the ones keeping the spirit alive through their greetings, their loyalty, and, their memories. They keep the community going.
And just to ground us, if you remember in Part 6 of this series, we explored the joy, the humor, and like that wildly colorful game day energy that the fans bring to the bowl.
Right, the really loud stuff.
Yeah. But today, for Episode 7, we are closing out the main series by shifting our focus to a different kind of energy. We're talking about welcome, loyalty, kindness, family, and just this die-hard devotion.
And the core theme we are unpacking from our source material today is how specific fans literally make Packers fandom feel like a physical home.
Yes, no matter where you originated from. But before we get into these amazing stories, we really need to talk about the mission behind this source material.
Right, because discussing this book isn't just like an academic exercise for us.
Mm-hmm.
This material is tied directly to a live Kickstarter campaign. And honestly, the clock is ticking loudly.
Very loudly. There are exactly 26 days left to support it.
And it is an entirely all-or-nothing mission.
I really cannot stress that enough. If the campaign reaches its $3,000 goal by Thursday, July 16th, 2026, at exactly 4:20 a.m. CDT, the book is especially funded.
But if it falls short?
If it falls short by even a single dollar, nobody is charged, but the project just vanishes. It doesn't get made.
Wow. So the stakes for preserving these stories are incredibly high, which is exactly why we need to dive right into the stories themselves.
Let's do it.
And I think we should start with this concept of a front door. Because if Lambeau is the house, you need someone standing at the entrance, right?
I am so glad you brought up the front door, because that leads us perfectly to a man who serves as exactly that for this massive global community.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yes. Dennis Towle Jr.
Right, Dennis the Greeter.
Exactly. And to pair with Dennis's story, I am actually pouring us both a Carry the G cream ale.
Oh, nice. I see what you did there. Smooth, classic, and very easy drinking.
Right, and it happens to be one of Dennis Towle Jr.'s absolute favorite beers. So it is perfect for a lifelong fan who literally carries the G through his family, his memory, his loyalty, and his relentless game day greetings.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. So getting into the sources, Dennis's story is rooted in this deep generational fandom. And it all started with what the book calls his first roar.
I love that phrase.
It's so visceral. He was sitting just 10 rows away from the legendary kicker Chester Markle, and Dennis describes feeling the stadium practically lift off the ground from the sheer volume of the crowd.
It's fascinating how that physical sensation of being in the bowl changes a person. You don't
Right.
just hear 80,000 people roaring. It vibrates through your skeletal system.
It really does.
But what stands out to me in the source material is that Dennis's foundation wasn't actually built inside the stadium. It was built in the taverns of his youth.
Oh, yes, the classic Wisconsin tavern Sundays. You don't even have to be a football fan to understand what Dennis was feeling in those spaces.
Yeah, not at all.
Like, think about the spaces in your own life. Maybe a local coffee shop or a community center where the ambient noise and the smell of the food just immediately drops your blood pressure.
Here where you just feel safe.
Exactly. For Dennis, it was glowing televisions cutting through the dim tavern light. It was the heavy smell of simmering chili, cold beer, fried cheese curds, and of course, brats.
Oh, man. You can practically smell the brats just talking about it.
I know, it makes me hungry.
But sociologically speaking, those taverns act as an anchor in cold climates. When the weather outside is just punishing, people need a communal fire to gather around, and sports provide that shared focal point.
Yeah.
So the tavern essentially becomes a second living room for the neighborhood. Everyone is focused on the same glowing screen, and that shared vulnerability builds this immediate sense of belonging.
And that environment completely laid the foundation for Dennis's welcoming spirit. But his proudest moment as a fan isn't tied to a tavern or even a specific player interaction.
Wait, really? What is it?
His proudest moment happened on October 17th, 1983. It was Monday Night Football against Washington. That was the night Dennis took his father to his very first Packers game.
Oh, well, the sun becoming the guide.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And the legacy doesn't stop there. There is a deeply personal layer to this specific chapter of our source material.
Right, because Dennis Towle Jr. is actually the father or the author of this book, Dr. Denni Towle.
Exactly. So when you read this section, you aren't just reading a standard interview. You are reading an inheritance. It's a son documenting his father's legacy as a fan and as a greeter.
What's fascinating here is the psychological duality of Dennis's personality that the book points out.
Oh.
Well, the sources note that in his own living room during a game, Dennis is a loud, unfiltered hurricane of enthusiasm. Like, he rides the emotional wave of every single play.
Oh, yeah, he's screaming at the TV.
Right. But online, where he acts as a greeter for the global Packers community, he is entirely different. He is stoic, steady, and just relentlessly kind.
I'm so glad you pointed that out, because being a greeter in Dennis's eyes is so much more than just piping hello into a forum. It is about making people feel seen.
Exactly.
He lives by this ultimate Packers priority: God, family, and the Green Bay Packers in that order. When someone logs in from halfway across the world, Dennis is the steady pillar letting them know they belong here.
And that philosophy is exactly what this Kickstarter project is trying to preserve. I mean, if you want to ensure Dennis's story and the stories of 20 other incredible fans isn't lost to the digital ether, that is what this campaign is for.
It's a huge project. We are talking about original interviews, exclusive photos, and over 400 pages of real Packers fan stories.
It really is a massive undertaking to document this history.
Yeah, and you can help bring it to life by heading to the Kickstarter page before those 26 days run out.
So Dennis builds his community in the digital space, acting as that front door. But that protective instinct, the drive to literally shield other fans and construct a safe environment for them, it manifests in a very physical, structural way for another fan profiled in the book.
Oh, we're moving on to Joey T.
Yes, Joey T.
Joey T, the diehard Packers fan. And for Joey, I am pouring us a diehard cold brew.
Oh, okay. Let me try this.
We are talking about a bold, dark roast cold brew. It's mixed with vanilla, brown sugar, cinnamon, and topped with this thick, sweet cream foam.
Wow, that had the kick.
It is strong, it is loyal, it is steady, and it is built specifically for the fan who never, ever quits.
That caffeine kick is very appropriate for someone whose fandom is this relentless.
Relentless is definitely the word. Joey T's passion is stubborn, but like in the best possible way. Over the last 40 years, he has missed only 5 to 10 games total.
That is insane dedication.
Right. He has been an official cheesehead since 1993. But his devotion doesn't just show up on game day, it dictates his entire life path.
Yeah, the book talks about his Lambeau romance.
He actually met his wife, Leslie, on the exact day the 1919 Kitchen and Tap opened at Lambeau Field.
It's so rare to see someone's romantic life so perfectly intertwined with a geographical location like that.
And it gets better. They didn't just meet there. They had a stadium wedding.
No way.
Yes. The groomsmen were wearing jeans, game jerseys, and Joey, who is incredibly creative with his hands, he actually made custom Packers Converse shoes for the entire wedding party.
That is amazing. His identity is completely fused with this team.
Completely.
But the detail in the source material that really caught my analytical eye is his day job. Joey is an ETFE transparent roof installer.
Hey, ETFE, stop right there.
Yeah, ETFE.
Because most people just hear transparent roof and think of, standard glass panels. But ETFE is something entirely different, isn't it? I'm trying to wrap my head around how someone whose day job is literally shielding NFL stadiums from bad weather translates that architectural skill into his fan life.
It's a great question. So ETFE is this highly specialized, lightweight plastic polymer. It is incredibly strong, but its main purpose is to let natural light into these massive stadiums while completely shielding the fans inside from rain, snow, and the harsh elements.
Okay, let's unpack this because the metaphor here is actually profound.
I think so too.
If you think about the transparent roofs Joey installs, they deflect the harsh elements while letting all the sunlight in. Psychologically, that is exactly what he does for the fan community.
Because of his online project.
Yes. He runs a feature called Joey T's DHPF of the Month, where he uses his own platform to spotlight other legendary superfans.
Right. He is shining the light on others rather than keeping it on himself.
Exactly. By actively spotlighting other fans, he deflects the toxic, aggressive elements of sports fandom that we see everywhere else, and he lets the joy shine through.
That is a great way to look at it.
He isn't just consuming the fandom, he is actively constructing it. By elevating others and making sure their stories are heard, Joey acts as the mortar in the brickwork of this entire community.
He really proves that being a diehard isn't just about painting your face or wearing a costume. It's about how strongly you support the people standing next to you.
Absolutely.
And supporting the community takes many different forms. The sources detail how the book goes beyond just profiling fans to actually teaching inclusion.
Yeah.
It's not just about keeping the bad weather out. It's about making sure everyone is invited under the roof in the first place.
You are talking about the Signs from the Frozen Tundra feature.
Yes. There's a full ASL learning feature built inside the book,
which was inspired by Jeff Payton, the ASL cheesehead, and the Deaf Packers community.
It is all about communication, accessibility, and making sure everyone feels included in the roar of the stadium.
It's a beautiful extension of Joey's protective ethos, and you can secure that ASL feature by backing the Kickstarter. They have some incredible tiers available right now.
What kind of tiers are we talking about?
Well, there is the digital edition, the signed paperback, the signed hardcover, and the cheesehead supporter tiers.
It all comes back to how fans communicate that sense of welcome to each other. Sometimes it is through ASL, sometimes it is through a digital greeting online like Dennis, and sometimes it is a physical embrace right at the stadium gates.
Which brings us to the perfect closing embrace for our 7-part journey today.
Ooh, I am ready for this one.
Because if Dennis Towle Jr. is the digital front door and Joey T is the mortar holding the walls of the community together, our final superfan is the one physically wrapping her arms around people at the stadium.
We are talking about Mary Kay Charbonneau, the greeter of Lambeau.
Yes, we are. And what is the final pairing for our greeter?
I believe you have a special tea for this one.
I do. We are pouring the Lambeau Welcome Tea. This is a warm honey lemon tea steeped with chamomile, apple, cinnamon, and real Wisconsin honey.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
It is comforting, it is gentle, it is deeply familiar, and it feels exactly like being welcomed home on game day.
That sounds incredibly soothing, which fits her background perfectly.
Mary Kay's story is just remarkable. She is a Yooper, meaning she hails from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, for anyone listening outside the Midwest. And she worked as a nurse for nearly 40 years.
Wow, 40 years.
Yeah, and over the decades, she has created more than 70 handmade Packers costumes. 70.
That is a staggering amount of work.
But here is where the story shifts from, fun trivia to profound emotional weight. Her motivation for these elaborate, colorful outfits was never about getting attention or trying to get her face on a television broadcast.
No, the sources make it clear it was a direct extension of her professional life. She worked heavily in hospice care.
Right. And I want to pause on that because the psychological mechanism here is just stunning.
It really is. When you work in hospice care, you are surrounded by grief, finality, and profound emotional fatigue on a daily basis.
It has to take a toll.
It drains your internal reserves completely. But what Mary Kay did was use outward vibrant joy through these handmade costumes as a psychological buffer.
Wow.
It wasn't a plea to be noticed. It was a highly effective tool to generate joy and bring light into difficult places, both for herself and for the people around her.
That changes the entire context of what a superfan costume even means.
It does.
And she carries that same healing intention into her game day rituals. Like, her routine often starts at Denilith Hunter's Tavern in Lena, where she reconnects with old friends and grounds herself before she even makes her way to the stadium.
And then she goes to work at the gates.
Right. For 28 years, she has stood outside Lambeau Field, often in the freezing cold, doing one simple thing, saying, "Welcome to Green Bay and Lambeau."
This raises a question that sports sociologists really love to debate, and one that the book addresses directly.
Oh, what's that?
Why do opposing fans, fans of rival teams, who are literally conditioned to hate Green Bay, consistently leave the city talking about the overwhelming kindness they experienced?
That is a great point.
Because in almost every other NFL city, visiting fans face hostility, screaming, and sometimes even physical danger.
I know exactly where you are going with this. It's because of people exactly like Mary Kay.
She is the physical embodiment of the answer. When you have a retired hospice nurse who has spent nearly 3 decades standing at the gates, offering a warm smile and embrace, and her 70th handmade costume, it completely neutralizes any tribal aggression.
Yeah, it is impossible to be hostile to someone treating you like family.
She proves, week after week, year after year, that kindness actually conquers all. She summarizes the entire fan ethos in the book with one quote, "Community, family, we are all Packer family."
It honestly gives you chills. A simple greeting for Mary Kay becomes a core part of a stranger's Lambeau memory for the rest of their life.
It's beautiful.
Mary Kay spent 28 years making sure people weren't forgotten at those stadium gates. Now, the author of this book is trying to make sure Mary Kay isn't forgotten. But if this Kickstarter doesn't hit its goal in 26 days, her story literally disappears into the archives.
That is the harsh reality of an all-or-nothing campaign.
It is. So if you want to ensure these stories survive, and if you want to put yourself right in the middle of that environment, you have to check out the campaign.
They have some amazing rewards left.
Oh, absolutely. They have Superfan editions, Frozen Tundra Man editions, and VIP tailgate experiences that literally put you in Lot 1 with these legends, plus exclusive collector rewards. This is the final push.
We cannot state it enough. 26 days left. If the $3,000 goal is not met by Thursday, July 16, 2026 at 4:20 a.m. CDT, these stories do not get printed.
So what does this all mean when we step back and look at the canvas?
That is the big question.
When you look at Denni Towle Jr., Joey T., and Mary Kay Charbonneau together, they collectively prove something vital. Packers fandom isn't just about the X's and O's of football or arguing about draft picks.
No, it's so much more.
It is about welcome, it is about family, it is about unwavering loyalty, and honestly, it is about love.
They are the architects of the atmosphere. The players on the field create the highlights we watch on Sunday, but these 3 individuals, and the fans like them, create the home we all want to return to.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Now, before we sign off, I actually have some very exciting news for you listening right now.
Ooh, lay on them.
While this deep dive officially completes our main 7-part superfan journey, we are not quite done yet.
We always have to leave a little something extra for the diehards.
Exactly. We have a surprise bonus behind-the-scenes deep dive coming up titled The Story Behind the Stories. We managed to get our hands on a behind-the-scenes author interview with Dr. Denni Towle himself.
Now, we need to be absolutely clear on the format for this upcoming bonus deep dive. Dr. Towle is not joining us live here in the studio.
Right. That's an important distinction.
However, we have built this special bonus episode entirely around his recorded interview answers. We're going to be reflecting on how he created this massive book, why this specific type of cultural preservation matters so much, and the deep significance of Father's Day, family, and legacy within his work.
It's going to be so good. We are also going to get into the mystery behind the Dreckiord label, the overarching mission of the Sons of Lombardy platform, and of course that final desperate push for the Kickstarter.
It is going to be mysterious. It is going to be incredibly warm, and it is going to be an exciting look behind the curtain at how a physical legacy actually comes to life.
It's the perfect epilogue to everything we've discussed over these past 7 installments.
It really is. But as we close out today's discussion on the fans who welcome us home, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over.
Laid it on us.
We've just spent time talking about how a massive, freezing football stadium made of concrete, steel, and howling wind can be transformed into a warm cathedral of kindness, simply by the sheer willpower and joy of the people standing outside of it.
Right.
So ask yourself, what ordinary, everyday spaces in your own life are you currently failing to transform into a welcoming home for strangers?
Wow, that is a heavy, beautiful thought to carry with you this week.
I thought so too.
Thank you all for pulling up a chair and sitting at the table with us today, for sharing these stories, and for helping keep the spirit of Green Bay alive during the quiet months.
We appreciate every single one of you.
We will see you next time for the bonus deep dive. Until then, keep your tea warm, your cold brew strong, and keep the door open for a stranger.